Hey, Howard here at 82 Maple, and the big moment has arrived. There's the big tool rack combo kit in here. It's been sitting outside under cover for about 10 days. I've been like a kid at Christmas time, just waiting to dive into the presents, but there was a bunch of other tyranny of the urgent stuff. Hey, a big shout out to John from the Bradleys on Catbird Hill. That's where I first heard about this. And, you know, one of my favorite business-themed artists is a fellow by the name of Hugh MacLeod of Gaping Void. You'll see his artwork there. I'll throw in the link below. One of his pieces is entitled, "There is no creation without collaboration." And that is the truth when it comes to equipment and sawmilling and land maintenance and development. There's so much on YouTube. And, you know, even just for the assembly of this, I kind of wanted to know what to expect. And so I went to Tony's Tractor Adventure, and there it was, kind of how it all goes together. I'm not big on reading through the manuals. And, you know, again, we don't all have to think exactly the same. Back to John from the Bradleys on Catbird Hill. He's a Husqvarna guy. I'm a Still guy. He's a Kubota guy. I'm a John Deere guy. He's just ordered a sawmill, not a Norwood. I have a Norwood. But hey, we learn from each other, and I just love the community. Thank you for being part of the community. Shoot me your questions, shoot me your comments, and as they say, without further ado, let's see if we can open this up without slicing into some valuable pieces. Boy, did they wrap this thing. Well, that wasn't so hard, was it? There we have it, the big unveiling. And as part of this combo kit, right over here, we have the little 1025. And I've wanted a quick attach kit for that for ages. Here it is. Whoa. And there's more. And there's more. I think it was Tony's Tractor Adventure that mentioned there may even be an interesting hat in here. That always gets my attention. Whoa, we have stickers. Oh, hey. Okay. Winter's coming on. It's been crazy weather here today. We've had everything from warm sunshine to just pouring down rain, bordering on hail. Hey, I'm raring to go now. I'm prepared. Whoa, I was going to wear my snap-on hat for this assembly. There we go. Off with the snap-on. On with big tool rack. It's going to be fun. And so the only thing standing between me and assembly, I'll open this up. We'll get some shots of it. But Coral has a load of, what have we got there? Are those horse panels, goat panels, or something else? Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to need those forks. I think that's what I'm going to do to pick up the big tool rack box and have it held suspended there until I can put the wheels under it. And probably the next time you see this in a video, it's going to have its name kind of right here. Well, there's two things. There's going to be a toolbox mount put on it, but it's also going to say something like Grandma Corky's Maserati or something. This is as close as we're getting to a Maserati for Coral Dawn right now. And hey, stay tuned. We're going to jump into the assembly. Well, here we are. Coral's handed the camera off to me, and what I've been doing for the last 15 or 20 minutes is diving into that box and unpackaging everything. That's something I really like to do, just to make sure that there's no missing parts or bits and pieces, just kind of organizing a little bit of a workflow for myself, getting things set up for assembly. I picked up a great tip from Tony at Tony's Tractor Adventure, and that was to elevate the box and the underlying frame assembly. Just makes things a lot easier. Got to get underneath there and tighten some bolts. So I just went ahead and suspended it with the 4066. And hey, we never crawl around stuff that is suspended by hydraulics alone. So that accounts for the jack stands under there. You know, the folks at Big Tool Rack really did a lot of things so well. My pet peeve is assembling an IKEA style project. And so what you're looking at here is exactly as it arrived from Big Tool Rack. That is, the pieces that require a specific bolt already have it installed, right down to that little guy there and right there. And that is just really cool. I don't have to go assemble those leg stands and wheels. It's all been done. And they use a bolt, a consistent nut and washer set. So here I've laid out, sorry, I'm kind of playing games with the sunshine here today. This is the entire package of nuts and washers, saved for 4, and I'll walk over to those in a minute. But same size nuts, same size washers for all. Here are some specific bolts that could not be attached to the component pieces. For example, bolting the body assembly onto the framework. But they're all incredibly well labeled. The only little odd feature that I kind of discovered as I was assembling the tools for this is that these bolts are 13 millimeters. So first of all, dig out your metric tools, 13 millimeter bolt head and 12 millimeter nut. And then there's some 10 and 10 millimeter, the smaller ones. But I just found that kind of odd. I'm pretty used to working with 13 millimeter as a standard around that size, just a little thing. So here's the tools that I kind of went through the package, and this here was only required with a Phillips head to disassemble the box. Hey, these folks are wonderful at branding. I got a key ring, I've got a pen, and I've got my hat, and the former video segment that Coral was the videographer for. The camera no sooner shut off and she took the hoodie. And so that's awesome. So I needed a knife to cut the packaging open. I always have a flat blade screwdriver, not even sure if I'll need it, but I laid it out. A measuring tape, a hammer for driving the compression pins into the quick attach assembly, a crescent wrench for tightening up the attachment points for the 3-point hitch, a 10 and a 13 millimeter wrench. Hey, I really like a Phillips head large screwdriver just for alignment points, and I'll show you a couple of specific examples in a minute. Electric impact gun with a 6-inch extension, a pair of scissors for cutting the more obstinate portions of the packaging material, and a metric socket set there. So let's go over, and you know what? I got to tell you, Big Tool Rack gets an A. They would have gotten an A+, except for one little item. Hey, when I watched the video on Tony's Tractor Adventure channel, he ended up having to put these reflective stickers on. Hey, Tony, sorry, mine came pre-mounted. Sad for you, buddy. And so the just for aligning bolt holes and so on, That's kind of what I use this screwdriver for. So the frame is underneath there. I can move it around and it works well. And then when I was tightening the nuts on here with the big crescent wrench, I just drop this through here and it gives me a place to hang on to. I like the alignment point to be vertical. And just a tiny little item. You're going to end up with a couple of those clips that come with the standard package that I think are made redundant by the quick attach assembly. I went for the hole here that would get me closest in to the nut. I could have gone for this hole and there would have been a bit of a gap there. The quick attach assembly, and I'm going to throw a photo or two up, is 27 inches between the points. I flipped things around and put the narrow washer. This had come, the bolt had come pre-assembled. I put it into the frame a few minutes ago. But this nut was here and the narrow nut was here. I wanted to get this in as tight as possible, and I wasn't able to do that with the big nut out here. And I essentially have, from the outside of this nut to the outside of this nut here, 26¼ inches. And if you measure the gap between the 2 points on the inside to inside measurement here, that's 27 inches. You know what? It's tough enough hooking up implements. I didn't want it to be 27 inches from this nut to the outside shoulder of the other nut. And so I swapped those around, and then I just use a ball peen hammer to drive this little compression pin through. And there we have it. What else about the package here? Again, first rate. Like, typically when you get something like this, you end up having to put all of these little rubber grommets in and everything, and just awesome. I also ordered some rack packs. The one on the left, not that it matters which goes where, but is going to my little cat mini excavator. The middle one I had tagged for the 4066. It has little or no tool storage. I'll figure out where to attach that. And then, just in case I need it, on the little John Deere 1025 that's going to be carrying the big tool rack around, I will suspend this off the ROPS. I'm not going to need it with the big tool rack and the bucket boss, so I'm going to use that over there on the John Deere Gator. Sorry, again, I'm fighting the sun here today. And what else did I get? I just couldn't resist. I need a couple of the steering wheel spinners. The one for the 1025 became inoperable some time ago. And don't ask me why, but the folks at Big Tool Rack have this amazing little rechargeable headlamp. I just thought, gotta get me one of those. So the only little flaw in everything, and so actually the folks at Big Tool Rack deserve an A+, but the only thing that kept them from getting A++ was this little sleeve for the quick attach was missing. I went and raided it off of another quick attach assembly I have, the one for my rototiller actually. Otherwise, I wasn't going to be able to pick this up and run away with it. Well, I could have just grabbed onto this, but this was the only piece that was missing, and I tore through all the packaging. There's some heft involved with this piece, so it wasn't like it was a dime laying in the bottom of a plastic bag. But it simply wasn't there. Hey, if that's the worst thing that can happen on this little adventure, well, you know what? I'm completely good with that. So here we go, and I'm going to flip a little video on. That is if Coral doesn't persuade me to go in and watch Sunday night football. So it's up in the air right now whether I'm going to finish this job tonight or we pick it up in tomorrow afternoon after work. Hey, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy my adventure with Big Tool Rack as much as I am. Hey, we're going to get right at this here where we left off last night. And not a lot to do. Couple of little in-between things. So, hey, the HVAC system is coming in. That's awesome. Tons of fun. And I put the little quick attach hitch onto the John Deere 1025 here. Love quick attach. Love that I was able to get one. For an extra one. I've got a couple of them around, and nothing better. You know, I always think about when Coral needs a piece of equipment and goes to hook it up, and she doesn't come from a mechanical background. I just want her to plug and play that equipment. And hey, Luna came out. Speaking of play, Luna came out for some playing time. She's going to hang out while we go to work on the big tool rack. So here's what we've got left. So when we finished up last night, I had put this rack here, a tool rack, and then the one with the chainsaw holder here. You know, sometimes I'll take two chainsaws if we're out for the better part of a day. So I'm going to take and swap the other chainsaw holder in here, just in case something happens. We nick a rock with something that I can't clean up quickly with a hand file. And so I'm going to put the other chainsaw holder in here. I'm going to swap this around to the other side. And I'm going to put this one's twin over here. Then I'm going to go to work and mount some of the boxes, and you'll get a better view of these later on. But if you're contemplating the big tool rack, you've already seen these. This is the small box, and it mounts on the side. And I will just reach in here and grab the large box. And thinking it through, I think I'll put the small one up here on the front and put the large one on the side. And I'm going to try that out for a while. What I really like is that I can, speaking of plug and play again, practically plug and play these attachments to the big tool rack. I can put the small one or the larger one there. And I'm just going to play around with the various tools and how we configure things. And we're going to end up in a really good spot. You know, I would have to concur that as both John from Bradley's on Catbird Hill and as Tony from Tony's Tractor Adventure claimed in their reviews, this is incredibly well engineered. And I know I talked about that last night, but it's just super easy to put together. It's really hard to screw this up. So I'm just going to fly at it here. We'll catch a little bit of footage, and I'm stoked to start loading tools. Stay tuned. I'm back, and here's the good and the bad and the ugly about the big tool rack. Well, no ugly, no bad. There's great and good. Couple of quick things. Okay, so I had said that, and this is my bad, that I needed a 10 and a 13, and then we settled on we needed a 12 millimeter to tighten things. Well, one more socket, need a 19 for these guys. Didn't think I was going to need the big impact gun, but to drive those ones and get them to where they need to be, I needed that. Couple little things. I confused myself, and this is my bad. On these holders here, there's some little screws and then a carriage bolt. And I took and tried to put this on over here and thinking that this wrapped around the bar. Well, I only did that once because looking at it, These bolts were, of course, way too long then. If you drive the bar right up in there, you're going to have a bolt that sticks out to here. So it doesn't exactly take a rocket scientist to figure out that I was doing it wrong. And I never read the instruction manuals, or at best I gloss over them. There's 3 short holders or attachments, 2 long ones, and I ended up with 2 long ones over here and a short one over here. Don't make that mistake. And that meant I had to take these screws out to make it fit. I couldn't figure out what those screws were for. Anyway, that's 100% on me. My only little complaint is the bolts, and it might be just a supply chain issue here as we go through COVID, but having a 13 millimeter nut and a 12 millimeter bolt, and then they're not really high grade bolts. I'm sure they're more than adequate, but I just used my little snap-on electric impact here. This little guy, not a lot of torque. I've actually never stripped a bolt with it before, and I stripped 2 bolts. So fortunately I have a little bolt supply over in my tool storage, and we replaced that. But that's it. I mean, this is first class all the way. Oh, one other little thing. So this goes here, and I think that's very, very clever. So we've got 2 back here for carrying lumber, etc. There we go. Can put some lumber on there, whatever. Larger tools, I guess, can hang things off of it. That's all terrific, but the manual shows one of these here, one of them over here. You know, we end up carrying lengths of ABS pipe, etc., maybe 12 feet long. Sometimes some, nothing really heavy, but 12 or 10 or 12 foot 1x4s for sure. Metal fence posts, those T-posts. And so I just went and drilled a hole here and dropped this in. It's a little bit lower, but I'm going to have a supply of bungees laying right in here. And I can just bungee that ABS pipe on, and I'll show you what that looks like. Right now, it's Monday Night Football. And Coral's cooking dinner. Hey, I'm a spoiled guy. So I'm going to take a short video of just picking this up with the tractor, and we're out of here, and we'll load it up with tools tomorrow and do a quick 2 minutes on that. Okay, so I missed the video of me backing up to connect it with the quick attach. You'll notice I took the optional weight bar off. I'm not going to put those suitcase weights on it. With the quick attach, the weight of this is extended out fully another 6 or 8 inches beyond what it would otherwise be. We're going to have this pretty loaded up. And one little modification that I need to mention, if you're going to get clever, like I think I did, and put this little holder back here, this leg in its typical holes is going to come up and bump into this in the upper position, meaning it's now in tractor position as opposed to roll around the shop position. So I just took a 3/16 bit and punched a hole through there, and then expanded it out to the necessary size with a 5/16 after I ran the pilot bit. Tomorrow we load this up, but hey, right now, again, it's Monday Night Football. Hope your evening or your day is great, depending on when you're watching this. Thanks for tuning in. It's going to be fun stocking it up tomorrow. Well, I'm back, and I apologize in advance if I'm repeating myself a bit. This little build of the big tool rack has been just filled with interruptions. I've had contractors coming and going, and so what was going to be an afternoon project stretched out into bits and pieces of 3 days. Again, none of this the fault of the people at Big Tool Rack. I couldn't have asked for an easier, better build. Any difficulties I encountered were very, very minor. In nature, I'd mentioned already the 12-13 millimeter thing. This little piece here that goes into the quick tilt was missing. I had to rob another piece of equipment to find it. It just wasn't in any packaging. It wasn't around. And then I decided to do a modification, and that was putting this bracket on. And so I took some time and marked my so in the up position, this is where my pin goes now. In the down position, this is where it goes. And I had to take my trusty little hacksaw and shave 2 inches off the top. All's good. As a Bible teacher said one time a long, long ago, Howard, now bringing up all of this stuff, you're majoring in the minors. You have to be a student of the Bible to get that. It's a thing about major prophets, minor prophets, stuff like that. So I threw the rubber mat in. What a nice, nice touch. Kind of a nice no-slip surface. And then proceeded to color code all of the tools that I hope to load in this. Stay tuned and I'll give you a shot of what it looks like when it's loaded. Okay, just before we do a quick walk around of the Big Tool Rack all loaded up, gotta show you one other little item. I treated myself to a premium steering wheel spinner. I just love these, and when I traded off my high hours 2012 1025 for this low hours unit, my steering wheel spinner went with it. And just to show you the attention to detail, like it came with the spacer should the steering wheel have had a smaller diameter. It came equipped with short bolts. I needed long bolts. They were in the package, complete with the Allen key. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. It's all there, all together. Love it. And here we go. Let's start from the bottom up. So you'll see I've color coded all of the tools that need to kind of stay with this unit or belong to this unit. With green, I threw in some green cinch straps, a couple of green bungees just to carry the theme along. Always need a chain. I used to carry the chain up here on the floor of the tractor, never on this side, because this is where I press down to engage the rear diff. But on that side, and either myself or others over the years have lost at least 2 chains as they rode around there. So I've got the perfect spot for my chain. Hey, here's all the stuff necessary for cleanup on aisle 3. And then we go around here, and what do we find? If it isn't the bucket boss, all loaded up and ready to go. Threw a couple of power tools in. There was enough pockets to hold the snouts on those 2 power tools. And, you know, it's a great little workbench to lay stuff out on. I'm actually thinking of bolting a little piece of plywood here, just for grip and laying out tools, and if I have some screws or something like that to lay out. Then we have, what do we have? Hey, stuff for moving dirt there. All nicely together. One little stray over there. And then everything I need for my steel combi. And look at that. Clamps right in. Up there. And the tailgate touches it ever so slightly on the way up or down. Won't harm a thing. Look at that. The chainsaw is complete with chain brake. Fits right in there very, very neatly. I was wondering if that was going to have enough distance side to side to accommodate that. You bet it does. Threw the little electric in there. Not that we'd be carrying 2 chainsaws around, but hey, photo op. So had to throw them in. And hey, we've got the heavy hitters here. We need to pick into that tough dirt. We got an axe, we got a sledgehammer, we got it all through the string head for the trimmer in there. What am I missing? I don't think these people at Big Tool Rack missed much of anything. So, hey, the fellow that my dad worked for 33 years owned a big interior sawmill, and one of his favorite expressions was, hey, that's just more fun than a barrel of monkeys. And that for me describes the Big Tool Rack experience. More fun than a barrel of monkeys, and the fun is going to continue on. What we're going to do is I've got a barn stall or a barn aisle, and we'll just keep this parked indoors there. If we need this little unit to run something like the little 48-inch rototiller I've got, super easy to drop, that quick attach assembly. Coral will be in, out, and gone in minutes. And you know what? Just one of the better purchases I've made. I think I said it at the outset. I needed something like this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, probably before that. And here we are. We'll keep you posted. I've got a couple of little things yet from Big Tool Rack that I'm going to, one of which is going to attach to the roll bar here. I'm not sure I'll need it with all of the other tools and the bucket boss, but if I don't need it here, it's going on the little mini excavator over there. So thanks for staying tuned. One last shout out to the Bradleys on Catbird Hill, and to Tony from Tony's Tractor Adventures. As I put this together, I felt like I was standing on the shoulders of giants. Watched your videos. It helped things come together really in a terrific way. Love the outcome. And hey, it's all about collaboration. And what a wonderful age we live in, where the technology allows us to do that across thousands and thousands of miles. Stay tuned. More to come.